Hello friends, it's Kelly Pullum here, also known as Craftin' Granny. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! In Canada, and tonight I've got a fun card to share with you with a little bit of a tutorial on how to use the Frosted Forest bundle. So that's going to be a fun and interesting thing to do. Before I get going, I just want to remind people that I am live 2 Tuesdays a month. So it's typically the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of the month, unless I announce that previously that it's changed. Sometimes if there are 5 Tuesdays in a month, I might switch things up a little bit depending on my calendar. But anyway, so the first and the third Tuesday of the month. Hi Tracy, welcome. I'm fresh off of a crafting weekend with my sister, so I have thoroughly enjoyed all kinds of crafting this weekend, and that's been really exciting and fun. And in fact, I've borrowed her Frosted Forest bundle to do this tonight because that one didn't make the budget in my spending, so it's nice to share. And she was kind enough to lend it to me. I also want to remember to mention that this is the month to use your bonus coupons. So if you earned a bonus coupon in August, you want to use it, in July, you want to use it in August. And Stampin' Up! Has asked people to use it, preferably before the 30th of August, because apparently there's some kind of technical difficulty that may come up if people use it on the 31st. Hi, Jeanette. Welcome, welcome. So anyway, if you have placed an order in July and you have bonus coupons to use, you want to use them before the 30th of August. And I am going to be placing an order within the next few days. So if you are a Sudbury customer and you want to combine orders, please let me know. So what else do I need to mention? Oh, there is a designer series paper sale on. So the designer series paper in the annual catalog, there's a whole collection of those that are available for a discount during the month of August. I will post the file in Craftin' Granny's Stampin' Friends so that people can see it. I haven't done that yet, but I will. So that you can have a look at which papers are on sale and see if there are some that catch your fancy. There are lots of beautiful ones there. So anything else that I need to touch base on? I will be starting classes up again in September. I have not yet determined dates, but I did start to look at my calendar for the fall this weekend. I do have some fun things coming up, which I'll share a little more with you later. I'm going to be a guest stamper at a stamping event for some ladies that I know. And that's going to be a neat thing that I've never done before. And there's going to be just lots of fun things going on. So stay tuned. If you are not on my email list, you need to be. That is the best, fastest source to get information on sales, on events, and all those kind of things. So if you're not on my email list, send me a direct message and get on my email list. Okay, so I am going to switch over to the desktop view. I'm a little like a squirrel. Somebody walked by out my front window and I have to have a quick peek. I don't know. My brain lately, as soon as, I don't know, I'm easily distracted and have a harder time focusing. And I don't know why it is particularly, but I'm just deciding to roll with it. I could worry about it, but you know, life's too short, so I'm going to just roll with it. All right, let's switch to desktop here. And I'm going to get rid of this keyboard. We do not need that. Here we are. Okay. So I'm going to pull in a little bit of grid paper. And I'm going to show you the bundle that I am using tonight. So this is the Frosted Forest bundle. It comes with this type of tree and then the evergreen trees. I love the little bird as well. There's a lovely birthday sentiment here. I love this sentiment too. No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. Now, doesn't that just speak to you? It does to me. Then the die set that goes with this bundle is quite amazing too. So you have dies that you could make a tree just with the die to add some detail, and then a background die. And you also have trees you can do for winter scenes with no foliage. And then you have these that will die cut to fill in this space. So this one would go over here to fill in the space, to add detail to that particular tree. And of course the other ones, I can never get these on in the way they started. Once I take them off, they never ever fit again. I'm not very good at puzzles. Okay, but a beautiful die set with lots of versatility. I've seen some cards that I liked, and I made one this weekend. I'm going to share it with you at the end, that used just this die. So lots of amazing ideas, I think, will come out of this bundle. But I'm going to just demonstrate tonight. Oh, and I forgot to tell you about the masks, of course. That's the main reason for the tutorial tonight. So this bundle comes with these layering masks. I got to switch back so I can see comments here. There we go. Excellent. So it comes with these layering masks. One set does the winter trees, and one set does I don't know, what do you call them? Deciduous trees. One is coniferous, one is deciduous. I had to really stop and pull back my science class to remember which was which. Okay, coniferous cone, right? So they're the ones that have the pine cones, and this one is deciduous. So what you do with these is you layer these, and you can add ink color over top to add detail to a stamped image. So you can essentially color them without using markers. You can use blending brushes, you can use finger daubers, you could use all different kinds of ideas. I've also heard people say that you can trace these and do this. So I imagine if you were very enthusiastic and artistic, you could take this maybe even without the stamp set and make trees. But there are details on the stamp set that you don't get with the masks, as you'll see. They're either numbered or lettered, Jeanette. One, like the coniferous trees are lettered and the deciduous trees are numbered. So, because they both come in the same set. Okay, so I'm going to just put the coniferous ones behind me, and we're going to use the deciduous ones. And the other thing you want to notice is they have this little notch in them. Oh, let's see. White on white is hard to see. There. I'll make it so you can see better. Yes, now you can see the little notch. So as I'm positioning these, I'm going to mark that notch so that I can layer one on top of the next, so that works easily. So you'll see how I do that in just a moment. Okay. So I'm going to start off with my piece here that I'm going to use to do the stamping on. So this one I'm going to use, this is basic white. It is 2.5 by 4. And actually the image is a little bit bigger than this, but this is the size I wanted for my card. So I've put that down. I'm using temporary adhesive. This is from a store that will not be named. And I'm using that to hold this in place. Okay, then I'm going to bring in my stamp. And I'm going to do, oh, I forgot, I don't want to put this on the paper here yet because I'm going to do it first on my Stamparatus. So I still am using our Stamparatus. They are not currently for sale. You can get a Misty, which does similar things, but we cannot sell the Stamparatus at this point. But I am going to show you using it because I'm going to use a technique to ink the stamp that I want you, like you need a positioning tool. So any stamp positioning tool will do. Okay, so I positioned the tree onto my white cardstock. I've got my magnets to hold that in place. That's the stamp positioning. As I said, any stamp positioning tool will work. And I'm going to just flip this over and pick up my stamp. Flip that back open. Now the stamp is on this side and I'm going to apply ink. So I'm going to apply ink with Early Espresso and Old Olive on here. I have finger daubers that I'm using to do that. So I'm going to take a finger dauber, put it in the Early Espresso, and then I'm just going to apply ink to the sections of the tree that have the trunk. Okay. Bring that back over, press down, and lift, and you see, so I've got a partial image here. It's not the full image yet. I'm going to take this finger dauber and put it away for a moment and get out my Old Olive ink. And this time I'm going to use the Old Olive ink and I'm going to apply it to the leaves, the leafy part of the tree. I'm not worried about if something overlaps. That is not a big deal. And I'm not even terribly worried about if I get all of it at the first go, because if I don't, I can always come back and I can stamp again. So pressing that down and lifting up. Oh, I did not get all this side. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so that is my outline for my tree. So I'm going to leave these open. Actually, I think I'm going to put the Early Espresso away for a moment. And we'll take this now. Put that away. I'll bring my paper back that has the temporary adhesive on it. And put that back down. And now I've got my masks. So these I'm going to place on my image, and you can slip it around and you'll find where the tree branches line up the best. Okay, so I'm just sliding that until my tree branches align with the image underneath. I think you can kind of see that. You can see the dark ink coming through. So now I'm just going to take this, I'm going to mark my notch. I'm going to put a few little marks around here to show where I want this to be. Now, you can tape this down if you want. I do have some washi tape to hold it in place while I'm using the blending brush. I got some dog fur there. Everywhere in my house is dog fur these days. Oh, no, that's okay. There we go. So I've got that on. Oh, I shifted just a tiny, tiny bit there. There. That's better. Okay, so now I'm going to take, this time I'm going to choose a lighter ink for my tree trunk. I have my dark stamped image, but I'm going to use Pecan Pie to do my blending. And I reuse my blending brushes. I do not wash them. I try to keep them sort of by color. So this one I've used primarily with green. This one has been used with a few things, but it's primarily browns at this point. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just circle here on my ink pad and coming in from the side. So I'm going to start on the plastic, come in from the side, and very lightly start to apply my ink. You do not need to press hard. I'm really not applying no pressure with my finger here, just guiding the blending brush. And you can do this once, twice, 3 times, as much as you want to get the color that you want. For the trunk, I'm going to go a fair bit because I would like to get a darker shade. I did find, particularly for the leafy part of the tree, that you don't want your contrast to be too stark. So I found a lighter hand for that was better. And I actually am trying to come, I don't know if it's going to make a difference particularly, but I'm trying to come always from the right side into the left, so that if one side of the tree is a little darker than the other, that's okay, because it might appear a little bit more in shadow. So even though I'm circling over, I've come from the right side into the left. And I don't know in the end if it makes much difference, but that's how we have it. So now I'm going to remove this. I'm going to go one more time. One more time just because I can. So my tree trunk will be just a little bit darker. Yeah, that's better. I like that, just a little bit richer. Because I'm using a lighter shade with the blending brush, of like a lighter brown, I want to make sure I get enough color on there to make it show up beautifully, and it does. Oh, don't you love that? It's already starting to pop. So I'm going to take that layer away, and I'm going to come in, and the second one, number 2, is this one. So I'm going to use my guides, my pencil marks that I put on my paper. I can line this up, and then I can put my washi tape down to hold it in place. Now we have 2 bundles that are like this with Stampin' Up! Right now. There's one that is floral, and there's this one with the trees. My sister was playing with the floral ones this weekend, and she did a beautiful job on a card with the floral images. So depending what your jam is, whether you like flowers or trees, or maybe you like both, you could decide which set you would like to play with. So this one, again, I'm going to take my green. I'm going to go lightly, okay? Start to apply my ink, not using pressure, just gentle, gentle, gentle. Generally with blending brushes, gentle is better. You don't want to use pressure because as soon as you do, you're going to get a blob of ink somewhere. And so to avoid a blob, you're just going to go gentle, gentle, okay? So I'm starting to get some color there. I'd like some more. I'm going to keep on going. Start up here this time maybe. A little more. So I can actually see which parts of the tree have more ink, which parts have less. So what the stencil does is it's covered the trunk so that I'm not putting the green over the tree trunk. Instead, I'm simply applying the green to the leaves. Okay, a little bit more. I'm going to try not to be too shy here tonight with my color. I don't know if I mentioned that this is Old Olive that I'm using. Did I mention that? I've even found with this, if you get ink, you can kind of push it into your, like if you get too much ink outside, you can just kind of push it into your stencil, because the ink, it does go on to the mat here, but it doesn't really stick. So it can just be blended right off of that. Yeah, that's coming nicely. Now you can see, even though I used Old Olive ink for the stamp itself, this is still lighter, isn't it? The tree is still lighter than the background, the direct stamping with the stamp. So I'm going to remove that layer. Now that looks beautiful just like that, but there's one more layer to use here that's going to add some definition to the tree, and then you're going to get some areas, it just gives you some areas that are darker than others and kind of helps the tree to pop. Now I preferred a subtle look with this, so I didn't want the two colors to be a lot different, just a little different, but you can, you know, go as wild as you want with this to add different color to your tree. You could play with fall colors. Okay, so now I'm going to add additional color over top here, but only to certain areas of the foliage on the tree. So now not only is the tree trunk covered, but part of the foliage is covered as well. And I'm just adding color to parts of it. I'm going to take a little peek there. Yes, that's the way I like it. And there we go. Now I don't know, this may even be too subtle for you to see with my camera. I'm going to lift it up for you. Let's just see. Yes, so you can see that parts of the foliage are darker than others, and you've got some different shades there. So I really like that. I like the way that looks. You could add more if you wanted it to be really dark shadows. So there's lots of possibilities there. I even tried one when I was playing. I did one with darker shadows and added some yellow to the tree to give it the look of a tree that's just starting to turn color. So you can really play with these masks. I keep wanting to say mats, stencils. They're called masks. So you can really play with the masks to create different types of looks. Okay, let's put this out of the way now. I'm going to bring in my stamp mat here and my sentiment. So I chose to use the Thinking of You. Maybe, you know what? I called it a Thinking of You card, and I did do my sample with that. But should I trade? No, I'm going to still go with Thinking of You. I have a big supply of thank you cards. So I'm still going to go with Thinking of You, even though I did do one already. Just grab my acrylic block here. So this one says, thinking of you and how you strengthen my life, which is a neat sentiment to go with the tree. I think of trees as being very strong. I'm going to mask the how you strengthen my life because I just want the thinking of you on the front of my card. I don't have a whole lot of space. So I'm going to just cover this up. I think I need to move that up a bit. There. If I do it from this way, I can see better. There we go. Okay, and I want to get my paper here, if I can find it. I had my little pieces all cut, but now oh, there it is. I was going to say, now I can't find my little sentiment piece. So here we are. This is my little sentiment piece. So when you're using a mask like this and you only want a part of the words, cover up the words you do not want, ink, and then remove your masking paper or tape. Okay, so I'm going to just take that off of there, and now I have no ink on the part that I do not want, and I can go ahead and stamp the part that I do want without a risk of it stamping the section that I don't want. Okay, there we go, beautiful. Now, I am going to just notch this with my scissors tonight. When I did my original one, I did do it with a punch, but for the sake of speed here, I forgot to bring the punch to my table. I'm just gonna do this manually. Hopefully I can be fairly neat. Oh, that's not quite the center. There we go. There we are. Not too bad. Okay, then I'm going to take that. It is going to go with another piece in behind it. Let's just see. Is that long enough now? Just barely. I'm going to, because I did this manually, I think my sentiment's a little wider. So I'm going to cut that to just extend it out here a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to just apply some glue here. And position these. Let's push with this end. I already got that in the inks or in the glue, so it's going the other way. There we go. Now I think I have to straighten this. There, good enough. Okay, so that is my sentiment. Oh, I forgot about stamping my birds yet too. Okay, here we go. We've got a little more work to do. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp a sentiment inside. On the first one, I did birthday wishes for a day as great as you are. But for this one, I'm going to put no beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. I'm also going to add a bird inside here. So this is going to be stamped with the Early Espresso. Yes, it is very nice sentiments, Jeanette. They're wonderful, aren't they? There we go. Okay, and now for my tree, or sorry, my bird. I'm just gonna use this block because I've got it. Just put this inside here. And then I did want another little white scrap, and I don't think I brought one out, but I can just do it. I didn't even, do you know what? I'm going to skip it. I didn't bring my die cutting machine over, so I'm going to skip that part. We'll just switch things up a tiny bit here. Okay, so we will put this away now. And let's start to assemble our card. So I chose to do, for this card, reach. I'm using the Regal Designer Series paper. So it has some lovely patterns. This paper comes in regals, neutrals, subtles, neutrals, and in colors. So it is a very versatile paper. I chose the Regal colors thinking that I might do some things for Christmas, but I do have these beautiful greens. So I'm using the old olive part of that paper. I'm going to use a piece of pecan pie that is, I'm going to just get that, I don't need that now. So the pecan pie is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's a standard card size. This piece, this one is 2 1/2 by 4. So this one is, I think, just 1/8 of an inch bigger. Maybe 1/4 of an inch bigger. So this one then would be 2 3/4, and then by 4 1/4. But that's right, I added the extra 1/2 inch for folding. So this is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4 and scored at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to fold that and burnish it. And this is going to go in the center here. But before I position this, I want to put on my side pieces so that I can make sure that I'm getting that in the center. Does that make sense? So I'm going to start off with these strips, and they are, I believe they are 1 1/4 by 4. So we're going to just come in 1/8 of an inch here at the top and the bottom. Can just use the edges there to guide. Now I've got, maybe I should bring that back in, because now the paper is blending in with my desktop, isn't it? Because of the brown paper. I just can't seem to win with my background colors. I noticed that the grid paper was sometimes making my camera go funny, and I thought I'd try it without grid paper when I can. But maybe I just need a new camera. So here we go. That is there. Now, it's much easier now to add this piece in the center because it's going to fit there precisely. There's no extra room. Okay? So I'm going to take this, and for this part, because the fold is going to be opened and closed, I'm going to use liquid glue. I think it's going to be a little sturdier than the Stampin' Seal. Generally speaking, liquid glue or tear and tape are sturdier than the Stampin' Seal. The advantage of the Stampin' Seal is that you can remove it more easily if you make a mistake. And then another advantage of the liquid glue is that you can move it around a little bit. So you need to just choose your adhesives based on the situation. I use them all just under different circumstances for each one. So that's something to remember. So now we're going to glue this down on the center here. And that will just line up nicely, top and bottom, with my Designer Series paper. Okay, Now I'm going to add here my sentiment with dimensionals. But before I do, I want to add some twine to the back of it. So linen thread is what I'm using. Oh, I forgot to color my bird. I didn't put it inside yet, did I? No, I haven't done the inside. Let's do that first. Where did I hide that piece? I've lost it. Oh, I'm so good at losing things. So here we go. I forgot. I want to just, because I want the bird to have just a little color, I've chosen my light pecan pie marker. I'm just using the light. But if you've used the Stampin' Blends, you know that if you come back and add more color over top, you can get a little bit of depth of color with them, because the more times you go over it, the darker it will get. So I've added an extra layer there in the sections that I wanted to be just a little darker, and I like that. So now this can go inside. There. And this comes down. And we're going to take our twine or linen thread. This is one, you know, people talk about the Stampin' Up! Product you couldn't live without. Honestly, this is mine. When the new catalog came out, first thing I did was look and see, can you still get linen thread? Because I love this stuff. It's thinner than our twine, and it is just perfect because of this color is so neutral. It works with everything. But I will point out that the new mini catalog has linen thread in some different colors too. So how cool is that? Pretty cool if you ask me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little twist that's going to look like a bow, but it's not really going to be a bow. And I'm going to have it twist like so here in a figure 8. But I'm spatially challenged, so I have to think if I want it to go point that way, when I turn this over, it's actually going to point that way. I have to think these things through. All right. So I've got some glue dots here. I've got my pokey tool. And I'm going to put, so I want it to go at this end, a little closer to this end than the other end. Oh, and you may have noticed I took my bone folder. I do this habitually without even mentioning it. This tool, if you use it as if it was curling ribbon, it seems to straighten your twine or your linen thread, and it makes it so much easier to work with if you're trying to create a bow. So that's another little tip for you. So I'm going to just take this, I'm going to come down this way, twist, using the glue dot. The advantage of doing it this way is I can see how much of my ribbon is, or my twine, or my linen thread is going to show. I'm going to give this one a twist because I want my ultimate shape here to look like a bow. So I want my strand to come out in this direction. Just got to get that into the glue a little bit, and then I'm going to put a dimensional over top to hold it all in place. Hi, Nancy. So I've just put that on top, and another one, and then I can snip my ribbon or my linen thread off here. Oops. I've got the wrong scissors for this job, but there we go. Take the backing off. And over we go. Perfect. So I'm going to just try and angle this a little more if I can. But that's good. Okay. So then this is just going over top. And voila. As France Martin would say, voila. And I love it. So this is, I believe it's called a center panel card because the center panel comes up and you see the inside of the card. If you don't have enough room inside to write, you can always add something to the back. You could add a white piece, but if you're just going to sign the card, there's enough room here to do that, and you don't need to worry about that. So there you go. That is tonight's card. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you'll try this type of card and really try one of these products we have that uses the masks. Now I want to just pull in the other one that I made because this set is so versatile. I wanted to draw your attention to this. Is just the die piece that I used. I used one of our French sentiments here. I used Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, and Poppy Parade ink to make this card. The first thing I did was mask. I tore a Post-it note into a circle to make my sun. So I didn't even have a shape. It's just an organic shape with torn paper. And I masked this. And I started with my Daffodil Delight at the top. Then I came back, I did my Melon Mambo, and then I did my Poppy Parade. And when I was done all of those, I removed the mask and I went over a little bit with the Daffodil Delight again to give the setting sun a little bit of color. And then for the embossing folder, I used the exposed brick and I put some ink on the embossing folder. And then when I was finished, I didn't have as much color as I wanted. So I took the blending brush and I added some ink directly onto the cardstock after it was embossed. I'm trying to get so that you can see that texture there. That shows a little bit better, I think. Anyway, that was kind of fun to do. I used my From the Countryside Inn suite of products, the hexagons, and then I just added a little bit of the tree dye inside to decorate the inside. So I just snipped off part of it and just used that. So this was lots of fun to make. And you can see like such different, this one with the winter trees and this one with the summer or spring trees. And then like there's no end. There's no end. You could do fall tree. You can do your Christmas trees. There is literally no end. This set is so versatile. So thank you very much, Nancy, for letting me play. And I hope you enjoyed the cards. And I hope you'll come back in 2 weeks and watch me play again. If I can help you with your paper crafting in any way, please let me know. I'm always happy to do that. And just a reminder that I will be placing an order within the next few days, probably within 2 days, I'm going to say. I will be placing an order. And if you have those August coupons, be sure to use them before August 30th because you don't want to miss out on them. Okay. And Designer Series paper sale. All the things to remember. Okay. Oh, Tracy, I miss you too. I miss you too. We'll have to get together again soon. You have a good time with your Michael, though. All right. Okay. Good night, ladies. I hope you have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you again soon. Bye now.